going to be watching this video later, we are playing Red Dead Redemption, and we're going to be talking about Omegaverse tonight and answering a couple questions that were posed on the Discord. We will be kind of just going through them. If anybody has any other questions, they're gonna pop up on the sidebar here. If I get anybody tonight, I know a lot of people were busy, but Red Dead, because it's a slower game, it'll allow us for a little bit more time, and it'll be easier to focus on questions rather than Monster Hunter, which is very active. So, for anybody who hasn't played Red Dead Redemption, this is Arthur Morgan. I'm pretty far into this game. I'm not going to start a new file or anything, but Arthur is my baby. I love him so much. So we are going to take Arthur and we're going to talk about some writing and we're going to have a good time. And if anybody has any questions, they can pop into the sidebar and I will answer them as they come up. If not, I will be answering the ones that were on the Discord. If I have any that were on the Patreon comments, I will definitely look at them, but I don't see any notifications saying that I do, so I'm just going to go through the ones on the Discord. And as for what we're doing in Red Dead, we are going to see if we can do some of the challenges. One of them is finding treasure, and I'm a terrible treasure hunter in this game, so I hope everybody's here for the talking about writing, because I am a terrible treasure hunter in this game. Let's see what we're doing here. I have to look at my treasure maps. I am such a bad treasure hunter. Let's see. Alrighty. Like, my Arthur is a fantastic hunter. I did all of the hunter challenges. But poor Arthur is terrible at treasure hunting. Just absolutely the worst. So, gosh. None of this looks familiar to me, like, whatsoever. So, let's take a look at the map. If you guys haven't seen the map for this game, it is freakishly huge, and there is no such thing as fast travel. So there is certain fast travel, like if you go to the camp you can get fast travel sometimes, but it turns out from everything online they've said it's a little glitchy, so I have not tried it, but to get from like one edge of the map to the other, it takes a significantly long period of time, and fortunately there is a way to travel without it's kind of sort of like a fast travel option, but it's not really a fast travel option. So we are just going to go ahead and try to find where this treasure is. Sometimes I look online to see where certain things are, just because I can't. I'm very bad at finding stuff. I've found a lot of like really neat stuff in here, usually with the help of the internet. I feel like if you're not looking on the internet, it's a very difficult game to play. Around Mount Shan is a place where you can find a UFO, and actually there's a couple UFO there's a couple UFOs that you can run into. I don't know if they're the same one. Maybe they are. Okay, let's see. I think we're going... here. So, I'll show you how this works. There's a cinematic mode. And I feel like I'm going to be doing a lot of my chatting in cinematic mode. Because Arthur will just follow the road. So, let's get to it. In another one of my, like, more informal live streams, I did the answers to the first Fuck, Marry, Kills. But I will reiterate them here, and if my answer changes in any way at all, I apologize, but I have thought about them a little bit. So there is Fuck, Marry, Kill, Asterly, Hal, Will, and Cyril. Oh, I skipped one. But anyway, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, fuck Asterly, marry Cyril, and kill Hal Will. Sorry, Hal Will, but that's how that's gonna go. I have Malcolm Stone, Val Idlewind, and Wolf. Ooh. And that one's gonna be really hard. Oh, hey, Gwen. And hello, email. It's just as hard as when the first time I answered it. We're gonna have to marry Malcolm Stone, fuck Val Idlewind, and kill Wolf. I'm so sorry, Wolf. Let's see. Yes, that was your question. I have more for all of you. I'm gonna try to go through them in a sensible fashion, just one by one. Okay, so Spiff asked me that they're curious how it felt writing someone else's original characters rather than your own original characters in Trespass Sweetly Urged, because they are Spiff's characters. Oh, well, Gwen, just ask your question right there, and I'll be able to see it. They said, I know you do fanfic too, but I feel like with that at least there is source material to go off of that makes it different. I also wanted to hear a bit about your research process. So we will skip the research process one for now and go with how it felt writing someone else's OCs. That was not as limiting to me as it might seem. I know with fan fiction, it seems to me that I'm limited a lot. But because Harriet and Lottie don't actually have, like, source material, like, they're pretty much just headcanon fodder, it was a lot easier for me to recognize that there was a lot about their characters that hadn't been fully realized. Like, not to say that Spiff doesn't have, like, a really vast imagination, because they do. Seriously, they do. We worked, like, long and hard, very good chemistry, to work on how Harriet and Lottie interact with each other and how they interact with the world. And I think it wasn't challenging because I literally had their creator at my fingertips. Not having a creator at your fingertips is very difficult. I know, like, people who write fan fiction, like, man, they are like gods among men. They have no access to the creator other than the source content. That to me would be more difficult. Sorry about that little glitch, everyone. I was trying to hit the wrong button here. Alrighty. Aha! There's the thing. There's the thing. But how does that work? So without the source material, like, there is no source material without the creator, like, right at your fingertips. I feel like it would be a lot more difficult to write them. But I actually, as for how it felt, I didn't feel like they weren't mine. I guess maybe that's just because, you know, I am creating the source content. I feel like there was a very good partnership that we had in working on it. Let's see. What's that? Alrighty. I'm going to be looking at this map a lot because I am a fool. All right, I have to go up and then down. Yeah. And if I die, I die because I was looking for this unmarked treasure at one point. It's just like something that you can discover, and I must have died like a gajillion times. Let's see. This is how you make your loadout. Thank you, Gwen. I really tried to make it so that I knew them to the point where I could write them convincingly. I really wanted them to have like a fluid build. I wanted them to feel like they were mine, even if they weren't. All right, let's see. Arthur, do not trip. Arthur will trip. Like, this game is way too realistic. He will trip and like die. He's an absolute just bean of a man. Alright, I need to, you know what? I can probably come up here. Ooh! This looks dangerous. Oh my gosh, this looks so dangerous. Yeah, rip Arthur, he will die. Like, you will see Arthur die. This game, like, I spent a lot of time playing games where I didn't die because they just weren't that hard. And then, oh shit, oh my god, Arthur, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna murder you. They didn't die because it wasn't that hard of a game. This game is so fucking hard. Oh, jump, Arthur! Oh my god, thank you. Holy shit, alright. I don't know where I'm going, so, like, I really hope I'm going the right way. Arthur, can you get up on this? Oh, yeah, you can. Alright. This game is, like, way too realistic, and he will die. Like, I have died so many times. Let's see. Let's see. Follow path. Alright, so I'm supposed to just kind of like follow this, I think, which is suspect. Oh my god, I feel like I just like almost died. What? Oh, did I just find it? Yo, it's giving me the willies. Like, seriously, Arthur will... This isn't even a treasure? What the... You've got to be kidding me. Oh, no. It's another freaking... No, are you serious? It's another thing. Okay, alright. I'm so mad right now. It's another treasure map. Alright. Okay, this looks familiar, kind of. Yes, it's another map. I'm so mad. Oh my god. Is there anything on the back? No, there isn't. Okay, we're so fucked. It looks sort of familiar, to be honest. Like, it really does look kind of familiar. So hopefully I can find this. Alright. Might be able to find this without looking it up. Alright, now where did I find the... It's up somewhere. There was a legendary animal, a legendary ram somewhere. And this should be where the legendary ram was, because that's where, like, the geysers are. Oh no, it wasn't. Yeah, it was the ram, and it was also the wolf. Is that the wolf or the coyote? I can't remember. Oh, so difficult. That's the coyote. Alright, so that must be the wolf. Up there. Okay, so let's go up here. And let's hope that this is... a troll question. Okay, alright, I'm ready for a troll question. Let's go. Let's go with a troll question. And Arthur's ready for a troll question, too. Arthur's ready to die right now, because he very well may. Alrighty, let's go, Arthur. Can you jump this? Oh my god, he can't. Okay. I'm so sorry, Arthur. I am so sorry, Arthur. You are about to die. How do you come up with all your ideas? Oh my god. Okay. Okay, but I'll actually answer that. I will dream them up. Like, no lie, I will just dream them. Alright, let's go, Arthur. Just jump right off of that. Nice. I just dream them up, and you know what? I have a lot of daydream time, that I just stand around and daydream a lot. So that's kind of where that comes from. It also comes from like music. I'll listen to music a lot. I also watch like serial shows on, you know, Netflix and stuff, and that'll help to give kind of like a good basis for ideas, because really honestly there's nothing original ever. Like, nothing is ever original. And yeah, I just daydream. I just stand there and I daydream, and you know, I'll think of something and I'll be like, oh, you know, that plot from that NCIS episode. What if I like melded it with this plot from a romance novel? And like, it'll just kind of turn into something new, but their ideas I totally stole, you know? I stole these very small pieces of everything, and I just went with it. This is Valentine. Valentine is nice. And actually, you know what? I'm going to get a different horse. This horse is lovely. He's nice. His name is Hannibal, because I always have a Hannibal in like every video game. In Monster Hunter, it's my Palico, and it's my Andalusian war horse in Red Dead. But we are actually going to use a different horse, because though Hannibal is nice, he's not my favorite. He's nice when you're like trying to hunt like a panther, because he won't rear. Song techniques. Oh yeah, like you just take little pieces of everything and kind of just meld them together, and they make something new, and it's always really nice. Um, this is my favorite horse, so we're totally saddling her up. She is my 100% my favorite, and she's like the worst horse I have, but she is my favorite because look at that aesthetic. Gosh, she's so beautiful. Alrighty, so you gotta be careful riding through town. You gotta take it slow. They do force you to be a little slow, but I always take it like way slower because your horse can get spooked. Even if you have a war horse, like I notice Hannibal gets less spooked, but any horse can get spooked, and they'll just like bump into someone, and then the police are on you. They're like, "Oh, kill him! He bumped someone with his horse. He's an outlaw." And like, they're not wrong, but also, I didn't mean to.
Hey, what do you want here?
Some people are mean to Arthur. I think it's just because, like, he's beautiful, and they're really jealous. Another question was from Spiff is research process go off of other historical romans, but are there specific niches or details you research for specific stories? Yes, but it's hard to answer that question without knowing like which specific story. I did do for A Toast to 23. I researched love letters because there is at one point Morgan writes a love letter to Hollow. So I probably read close to 50 historical love letters. Just trying to get like the language down, just trying to get like how Morgan was going to convey his feelings down, because I wanted him, obviously like the type of attraction and everything, I wanted it to be believable. I wanted it to be special, and I wanted to be able to like take from like primary source documents from the time period. So I read a lot of historical. Oh, there's an elk. Oh, there's a couple elk.
Yep.
How do humans express affection? Yeah, no, I seriously was asking myself that question. How did people back in the day express affection to each other without texting emojis and just saying it out loud? In this age of letter writing, how did they convey this? And also like what was appropriate at the time? Like nowadays, if you wrote to somebody you barely knew and you said, "Oh my gosh, I love you, your eyes are like sapphires," like that would be really weird. Everybody would be like, "Wow, you're a real creep." But back then it was just like, "Oh, haha, that's old man Jenkins wants to marry a 20-year-old. No big deal."
Get back.
Whoops. Uh-oh.
Hey,
Uh-oh.
easy now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Alright. This is why we have a double-barrel shotgun.
Easy there, girl.
Oh, and they left me alone. They saw my shotgun come out. They were like, "Oh, fuck that."
Go easy, girl.
Missed the answers to these questions, but I love questions. Oh, well, if you miss anything, you can just re-watch the live stream. If you miss anything, re-watch the live stream. Let's see. Anything else specific?
Yep.
Wow. I definitely researched like old wheelchairs for By the Light of the Moon. Because, you know, they existed, they just weren't, you know, as good as our modern day wheelchairs. A lot of people, you know, they do this thing where they don't write disabled characters because they're like, oh, it's not realistic to have this disabled character. And yes, Victorian dating was wild. It's stupid for people to say things like, oh, yeah, like they didn't, it, the disabled people didn't live long enough. You know, I shouldn't have to write them into my story. And it's like, that's absolutely 100% wrong. So you can just shut the fuck up. With seafaring. Oh, good lord. Man, I completely forgot about all the research I did. I did hours upon hours upon hours of research on schooners and, oh, man, and galleons and all the nautical terms and, gross. And, gosh, it's like reading a whole nother language. Like, the I don't know what in the world. It had to be. It had to be like all that seafaring stuff had to be like its own language, and it makes sense for it to be its own language because um it made sense for it to be its own language because you know, if you hired a man in Italy to sail with you, he's going to know the exact same terms as someone who you hired from England. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Miles definitely had would have had all of the good shit. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Am I looking at this? Am I looking at this the right way? Is it this one? No, it's not going to show up. Alright. Ooh. Ooh, those actually erupt. Alright. I did not use the internet for this one, and so I could be in a totally wrong area, but I swear to God, it's this. Alright, so there's the little chimney thing I swear that I'm standing right next to, I think. I think this is it, or maybe that one's it. Like this one would be it. Okay, so I think that it's this big one right here. So it's got to be like it makes a square. So it's got to be somewhere over here. Maybe it's this rock formation right here. Oh, it is. Okay, I'm so proud of myself. I am so proud of myself. All right. I really shouldn't be doing this as Arthur because, as you can see, I have like an obscene amount of money. All right, let's see. That is in the middle of a... That is in the middle of a piece of water. It's a big thing. And there's a tree in the middle of it. There's a tree in the middle of it. Okay, gonna... You know, because I always forget about them. I always forget about, that title. I'm always like, oh yeah, dukes and earls and viscounts and whatever else. I always forget that there are such a thing. I am the rich Cole Harper, except for I'm not as good as Cole Harper is. Cole Harper has like a moral compass, and Arthur is literally an outlaw. Arthur's like a smarter Vero, and a richer one at that. All right, let's see if I can find this one. Where'd you go, Angel Eyes? Come on, that's my baby.
Okay, girl.
This game can be exciting. Oh yeah, it does. Technically, Captain Neverell is a Marquess. I don't remember what her title name is, but I know she is one. Let's see. There's a tree in the middle of it. Man, that's a tough one. That is a real tough one. You know. And speaking of Captain Neverall, we're gonna go here. I don't know if there's a tree in the middle of, like, in this one. And I don't think there's mountains so close to it. It's not Moonstone Pond. A tree. Man, that's so difficult. It's gotta be like... It's not this one. This one doesn't have a tree. Okay, we're gonna try this one. I could be wrong. But speaking of Captain Neverall, the amount of nautical just crap that I had to memorize was freaking... Oh no, I ran over something. I hate it when I accidentally kill things. What did I run over? Oh no, I ran over a bird. Oh, why didn't it fly away? Gosh. Strawberry? Are you saying like Strawberry, like the town on the map? Yeah, there's a town called Strawberry. And Strawberry is so obnoxious to try to I was just about to say to drive through, but to ride through, because everybody's always in your way. Ash and Victoria were so nice. I liked that story. I felt like it went on a little bit too long. But I was having a good time. I wrote that one when I didn't know what a vacation was. So, like, throughout my entire vacation, I was writing that story. I was, like, writing it in the car. I was writing it when I was on vacation. I was like, no, I can't stop writing this. I have to do my updates. Like, if it was me now, I'm just like, no, fuck it. I'm not gonna write. I'm on vacation. I think it was just because it was like one of my earlier stories, and I definitely wanted to create like a consistency, especially since, oh, there's a little black squirrel. I wanted to create like a consistency, and I wanted my readers to know that, you know, even though I wasn't doing daily updates anymore, you know, I was still good for something. The one thing I really like about this game is that the horses have like realistic gaits. And they do walk different based on what kind of horse they are. If they're a Tennessee Walker, they have a different gait than, say, like this is an American Paint. They have different temperaments. They have different dispositions. I think they're very individual. Maybe that's just me, but I had 3 American Paints at one point, and I don't think any of them behaved the same. Granted, they were different types. One was a Splash White, one was a Tobiano, and this one's a Novero. But they're very individual. At least I think they are. The idea for Alpha Guy Pirate and Guy Omega. Oh yes, I think that happened last stream. Oh man, I will forget myself. I love paints. Oh, I love paints. I wish there was an Overo that was black and white, just because, unfortunately, every single Overo you're going to see is either this beautiful color or there is a gray and white Overo that you can get, but I can't get it right now because I am still Arthur, and I'm pretty sure you can only get them like post game. But I refuse to move forward in the story because the story is very sad. So Guy Pirate Alpha. I forget a lot of stuff, and I may or may not have forgotten. Is that a wolf attacking that guy? It is. Nice. You know what? Leave that man alone. Stop it. Sometimes if you just like nick them, they'll leave. Ah, dinner time. Alright, well, we'll see you when you're back, Gwen. We will probably be on for a little while. This game is far too realistic. When a cloud moves over the sun. Like, when I was first playing, when I first got the game, a cloud moved over the sun. And I just about lost my shit. I, like, started crying. I was like, wow. Like, oh my gosh, the lighting in this game is incredible. Alrighty. And yes, Arthur doesn't like the rain. He hunches over and he's like, no, I don't like it. It's cold. We're gonna find this. We're gonna find this. This treasure. Whenever I see the word treasure, I'm always reminded of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Where, you know, they're looking for this non-existent treasure. And they're just like, the treasure. If it rains, your horse gets clean. Oh my gosh, it would be so horrible for me to play a horror game. Like, seriously, no. I think I have Until Dawn, but it's not really mine. It's Alex's, so I'd have to be on his thing, his account, but on my let's see, this is Sage. I'd have to be on his account, but my PlayStation and like Outlast. You know, I've never played Outlast. I probably should, like, one day. I heard it's really good, but I haven't played Outlast. I don't play a lot of horror games. I haven't played Amnesia. I'm like one of those people who will scream. Like, if there's something like crazy going on, I will scream. Wait, that's a throwing knife. You've gotten like every route. Oh, you know, I really want Alex to save Jessica. That's her name. Because she's my favorite character so far, and I've only ever watched Alex play that game. I haven't watched it myself, but I will scream. Like, I played Slender for a while back in college. I had a huge problem playing Slender. Like, no way. I don't think so. You can't find your batteries. Oh man. Like, I feel like that's a huge problem with like going through inventory and like trying to make sure that you have everything that you need. especially in horror games. Especially in horror games. Like, I could not imagine. Um, there's a lot of stuff that happens in horror games that I am just like not cool with. Like, oh my god, I can't find my thing. I can't find where's my thing. Um, and if Alex was like on the stream with me, he would be like, "Oh my god, calm down," and I'd be like, "Oh my god!" Like, I would scream. I would definitely scream. I would be that person who would like poop their pants. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I couldn't do camera night vision mode for anything. No way. Um, uh-uh. I'm not about like really scary games. I never played a lot of like the horror games um that a lot of kids played when they were when I was little. Ooh, Herbalist 3. Nice. I'm trying to do a lot of the challenges. I'm trying to do everything I can. Um, pick 5 mushrooms and feed them to your horse. Okay. We will pick 5 mushrooms and we will feed them to my horse.
Yep.
But only if they're good for my horse. We won't. Whoops. We won't poison my horse. Hard to find them around the world. Oh, you know what? That's how it is in, it's not a horror, at least I don't think Dead Rising is a horror game. It's actually, it's more fun than it is scary. Dead Rising was kind of like that, trying to find batteries for the camera. Because you're a photographer, you know, you need batteries for your camera. And taking all the pictures that you need. Frank West, photojournalist. Ew. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. A mental asylum. Oh no. Um. Oh no. I couldn't imagine. I watch like scary movies sometimes. But you know, scary movies, they really lost their appeal to me. The modern scary movie, they always have to have this thing where right at the end you realize that everything is still horrible. And like I am not about that life. Like the bad house or bad ghost or whatever can live, but I don't want every single person in the game to die. Like that's not why I watch horror movies. I think horror movies are kind of like the triumph of good over supernatural evil. Like that's why I like to watch horror movies, is because I like to see decent or at least somewhat decent people win over this extremely difficult scenario. I like to see the good in people win out over the most horrible of evils. Uh-oh, there's wolves. There be wolves in them hills. Oh, 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 I missed. No, no, stay on her. No, oh man. Good job. He's limping, I didn't even hit him. Yo, I will watch live streams. I really will. There we go. All right. I will watch live streams. That does not bother me. I will totally do that. Other people watch my live streams. I will watch it. I will watch your live streams. See, oh, I knew I was right. Ah, there's a tree in the middle of this thing. But there's no mountain behind it. I don't think this is it. There's no mountain behind it. Okay, yeah, Dream by Day is definitely Red Dead plus a Skinwalker. It's funny because Red Dead hadn't come out hadn't come out yet when I wrote that story, but I just wanted to write a Western. I really like Westerns. I really like their aesthetic. And when Red Dead came out, I was kind of iffy on whether or not I wanted to get it, but when I saw Alex playing it, I knew that I had to. I really, really had to. The whole Western aesthetic is very, very me. I'm huge into Clint Eastwood movies. I love Westerns. So I knew I had to do Red Dead. Oh no, no fun headphones. Maybe this is it. Oh, yeah, okay, there is a mountain, like right there. It's just not where I expect it to be. There's no depth on these, in these gang maps. Yep, that's totally it. That's gotta be it. Yep, it is. Alright. Now, Arthur can't swim all that great. Is there a boat? I forget if there's a boat. There might be a boat. He can swim. He can swim this. He can swim this. He can totally swim this. Come on, Arthur. You can swim this. You're doing good. Yes. Nice. Multiple people. I love gaming very quietly alone. Yes, I am with you there. I am usually a very quiet gamer. Alright, now. Alright. I feel like it should be somewhere around here then. I don't see it. I'm not seeing it. Oh, maybe it's in this hole. No? 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 Where in the world is this? It's gotta be around here. It says it is. Here, we'll walk over here. See if it's somewhere over here. No? Alright. Have a go at your question. I'm ready for questions. That's why I'm here. Examine rock? If you're not really tired of my Morton Tristan questions all the time, that's good. Oh, pfft. Morton Tristan questions don't bother me. Definitely don't bother me. What 2 gold bars! Ho ho! Mission complete! I'm saving those gold bars to bequeath to my friend and lover, John Marston. $10. I don't need $10. Alrighty, there's my horse. Ugh. Alright. I am not bothered by any headcanon questions. If you have, like, if you're writing them down, it's probably important to write them down because I will forget them. So, like, one day I'll be writing, like, a Morton Triss story, and you'll be like, that's not how that works because, but you said blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, I don't remember. Because I am a fool. A true... I will bequeath the gold. I will bequeath the gold to my beautiful friend and lover.
Come on, girl.
Because you can't. Okay, so spoilers for Red Dead right now. So mute if you don't want spoilers. Um, Arthur doesn't make it, and you have to play as John Marston after Arthur doesn't make. Oh no, he's gonna run into me. Oh, I ran into him. Alrighty. So, huh. I mean, you can tell her anything you want. I mean, I don't care.
Yep.
Tell her whatever you want. Yes, oh my god, I love Arthur. This is why I refuse to play the rest of the game, because I love Arthur so much. Arthur is my big baby boy, and I love him. John Marston, yeah, I like him. But he is not Arthur Morgan. Arthur Morgan is a big bear of a man, and I absolutely adore him. With all my heart and soul. Hence my Red Dead Redemption fanfiction where he and Albert Mason are a thing, because I cannot handle thinking that they are not a thing, especially with how much they flirt in the game. I really wish I don't know if I can replay those missions. I probably can. Oh, there's a boat. Oh, I'm an idiot. There's a boat. You probably can replay the missions. Where they just flirt with everybody. Well, not everybody, with each other. They flirt with each other all the time. I mean, and Arthur, yeah, he kind of flirts with everybody, but okay. That's like so glitchy. Every once in a while the lures get kind of glitchy. But he is my baby. Like, for real. Oh. Fishing is actually harder than it seems. This fishing mechanic is one of my favorites in any game. I love fishing as Arthur. Oh, look at that.
Great.
I love how vocal Arthur is. He's vocal in the same kind of way that like Geralt in Witcher 3 is vocal, except he's not quite as obnoxious. He doesn't speak to himself in the same way that Geralt does. If a more Tristan fic. Don't hold your breath for 2019, just because 2019 I'm trying to almost exclusively work on lesbian fiction, just because it's an underserved community, and I definitely have not done my fair share of lesbian fiction. Geralt, oh my gosh, he speaks to himself, and it's just like, dude, quit talking and just do your shit. Arthur's really cute when he speaks to himself. Arthur's like really adorable when he does it, because he's like a total hayseed, like he's a total like cowboy, and he'll say stuff that's just like if I accidentally do something, like try to cast in a river or a lake without any bait on the fishing pole, he will kind of chastise himself as if he's just made the error of not putting any bait on. He'd be like, oh, a little bait would be good, haha, you know, like the way that you chastise yourself when you catch yourself doing something kind of stupid. You know, I could, if something strikes me, I definitely write I write a drabble for it, because if something like hits me and I'm like, oh, I have to write that, I do write it. I don't. There's a horse right there. Oh, there's a horse right there. Oh no, where'd he go? Where'd the horse go? I need him. I love the wild horses in this game. Wild horses are possibly one of my favorite. Ooh, it's an Appaloosa. Alrighty, let's find this Appaloosa. If I can. Where'd he go? Oh, he went up here. Is that a horse? No, that's an elk. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to know, like, what's an animal and what's a... Alright. And sometimes it's a little bit difficult to see the track. There it is. I'm gonna try to tame this horse so that you can see what the taming the horse mechanics are like. Is that the horse? Oh, that might be the horse. Right there. The horse mechanics are incredible. I absolutely love them. There is nothing better than taming a wild horse in this game. And I did not tame the Overo. I did not tame the Andalusian. I did tame the Arabian. That was a very, very difficult.
Okay.
That was a very, very difficult taming, but it's supposed to be. It's a very, very rare horse. Only one of them spawns, and
You're all right.
the taming of the horses is absolutely just incredible. I love doing this. In my head, Arthur is an incredible horseman. I think Arthur is like a big giant baby, and I think he's got a huge soft spot for horses. I think we're gonna pat this horse. We're gonna try anyway. Yeah.
Good.
All right. There we go.
Easy there.
Alrighty. This is far more difficult than it looks. I wish you could see the way my hands are moving.
Easy
There we go. There we go. There's a horse bonding procedure.
Yep.
Where you do things to make your horse bond with you.
Okay, boy.
One of them is to feed him.
That's good.
And he will like you. If a horse has not bonded with you, like, at least to bond level 1, they will totally ignore you. But it's pretty easy. Oh.
It's okay.
Oh, man. There's a bear. Oh, it's a black bear. They're total cowards. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Easy.
If you just, like, fire a warning shot, they'll run away.
Whoa, boy. Easy now.
Hello, Gwen. Welcome back. We're just taming wild horses and giving warning shots to bears. Oh, you're not going to be able to get back on? That's okay. We can answer some more questions and you can watch it later. Another one of my questions that was asked was, let's see, is what is your process for getting ready to write a chapter or drabble? Do you do a little practice writing piece first? Not usually. My process by email. I'm sorry, I just got to your question and now you're leaving.
Here.
The process to write a chapter is pretty much wake up, sit down, eat some Pop Tarts, get some coffee, and really think about like what am I doing. It's it's not too difficult to get into the mindset of writing. Actually, you know what? I am going to take this boy. I have my gun on me, so we're good.
Come on. Yep.
The process, I wish I had a better answer than that,
There, boy.
but I don't. I don't do a practice writing thing. Sometimes if I'm just not feeling writing the project I'm supposed to be writing that day, I will write something else, and it'll be like a small little thing. Usually it's something that I'm like just more excited by. I think you're right. I think I can slip into the writing process just a little bit easier than maybe some other people find it, just because I write very consistently. Recently, I haven't been writing as consistently as I would like to, but that's just because it's sad. So, I think it's, oh no, oh, I just ran over that rabbit. Oh shit. Oh well. I swear I run over more small animals in this game than I ever ran over in my actual, like, car that I drive. Like, not that I drive a lot, but also, like, how many animals can I run over? Thank you. I really do try to remain consistent. I feel like it's really important that I do remain fairly consistent in the amount that I write. Each chapter, my basic goal for each chapter is above 2,000 words, but I try to consistently get like 2,500 at the very least for each chapter. Another one is, what are some of your favorite things about writing betas, and what kind of storylines would you like to see for betas? Everything about writing betas is the best about writing betas. Betas are like the redheaded stepchild of Omegaverse. I think no one does betas justice at all. Like, no one does betas how I wish betas were done. They are constantly ignored, and that's one of the reasons that I really like writing them. And one aspect that I like writing about them is their ability to just kind of blend into the scenery is definitely a huge boon for writing them. I really enjoy being able to write them as kind of like furniture, and they see themselves as furniture, they see themselves as these as these people who can just kind of like come and go as they please. They have this ability to find themselves in odd situations, and that I think is the thing I like the most about them, is being able to write them into scenarios that you could not write an Omega or an Alpha into. They're very
Okay, boy.
unique.
Let's go.
It's easier to
Yep.
focus on their. Oh, I didn't pet the dog. I have to pet the dog. Um, I think it's easier to write them into their own personality because you don't have to worry about all this extra alpha omega bullshit. Like you can just come on, Arthur, pet the dog. There you go. There you go.
Hey, boy.
Yeah. In terms of like what storylines I would really like to see betas involved in, I could see anything. I could see betas involved in all sorts of stuff. And I would really, really love to write a beta storyline. And I know it's going to happen one of these days. I'm just going to be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to write an entire ABO romance novel that is completely beta centric, that deals with betas only. Yo, this game is like The Sims Wild West. This is literally like, oh, live your life in the Wild West. Except it's not as west. Like the southern half of the map that I can't access because I'm only in chapter 3 is more like Wild West. But so this is kind of like Wild East. But there's all sorts of like crazy stuff you can do in this game. And some of it is a little too realistic. Like, there's a lot of stuff in this game that I'm just like, really? Like, what happens? Oh god. You can get bit by snakes. You can accidentally eat poisonous stuff. Like, there's all sorts of like crazy shit. You can get mauled by grizzly bears in this game. There's some crazy yokel down in the swamps who like rapes Arthur, which my Arthur has not been through such trauma because I heard about that and like there was this weird creepo guy and I was like, oh no, this is the guy. It's got to be the guy, and so I killed him. And of course they give you bad honor. Like there's an honor system. Like for doing good things you get good honor, and for doing bad things you get bad honor. But it's based on like at what point does Arthur know that something is bad? And so, for example, there's a scenario, there's a random chance encounter where this woman will be crying, and if you kill her immediately, obviously you are a bad person because you don't know what the scenario is going to be. Arthur doesn't know, like in canon, Arthur doesn't know what's going on. So if he kills her, then he is a bad person. Like, so even though you might know what the random encounter is, Arthur doesn't. So if you kill her, you get bad honor. But if you try to help her, all these like crazy night folk swamp people come out and like try to murder you. And at that point you can pretty much slaughter everyone, and you don't get any bad points to your honor because it's self-defense. Grizzly bears, oh my god, they are so horrible in this game. Oh my gosh, they're terrible. Is there a train coming? Oh, I love the trains. You can get hit by a train. It is not fun. They don't seem like they're going very fast, but if you get hit by one, you die. Like, most of the horses will get spooked by moving trains, but the Andalusian will not. You can also rob trains. And actually, if you follow the train, the guy on the back will warn you and then start shooting at you because he's like, "Oh, you're gonna steal my stuff on my train." You can also hitch rides on the backs of these wagons, but you have to do it in the correct way, or like if you just try to climb on the back of the wagon, they will be like, "Get off my wagon," and they'll start shooting you. Like it's very America. Like we're gonna shoot you. But you can greet people. Like this guy who can say howdy. And some people are nice and some people aren't nice. It's very
Hey, boy.
you know, it's kind of randomly generated, like who's going to be nice to you and who's not. But also, I think it's based on like where you are. Like if you're kind of in like the southern end of the map, more people are nice to you, and in the northern parts of the map where there's less people, they're gonna be a little bit meaner to you because they're like they'll actually whip out their guns and they'll be like, no, we don't want anything to do with you. Like just keep moving on, you know, because you know you don't run into a lot of people up there. So, all right, sell horse, yes, please.
Appaloosa, smart and does what they're told. Done.
Favorite trope to write and favorite trope to read. My favorite trope to write is, oof, that's a tough one. I think, well, let's go with favorite trope to read. Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't born back then either. My favorite trope to read is easier than my favorite trope to write. Favorite trope to read is pen pals who don't know who the other one is. That's definitely like that's my favorite romance trope to read. I definitely really love that one where like and you find it a lot. Like that's a very common romance trope for that's a very common romance trope for like conventional romance novels. Let's see. Pick 5 mushrooms and feed them to your horse. All right. Yes, I knew that. Pick 5 mushrooms and feed them to your horse. All right. I just have to find mushrooms. That's always a tough one. There's berries over here. I need berries because I make potent predator bait. And I was doing that a lot when I was hunting like cougars and panthers, but I need this too. Oh no, I'm too hot because I'm wearing my panther. That is my beautiful panther cloak. I got it from slaughtering this incredible panther. That was the only hunt where I actually needed a strategy. Is this legendary panther that actually had a name. I forget what his name is. It was something really badass sounding. But I refused to take this off because I actually survived. Normally you don't survive like the first hit from this panther, but I did. Alright, let's see. This game is incredible. Oh my god, I freaking love it. Let's see. Rolling block rifle is the rifle with the long scope on it. I can literally hunt from all the way back here. Oh, there she comes. She is so confused. She does not know what to do. And she dead. That's a beautiful deer.
Get the hell away from me.
He a meanie. He a meanie, but only because I just shot my rifle, like, literally right in front of him. He's like, I don't want him to kill me. Sometimes if you leave your horse too close to the road, they'll get nicked by something and they'll just like fall over and it's like, oh my gosh, you're gonna murder my horse. This is like Hunting Simulator the game as well, so like you will literally like skin an animal, like field dress an animal, and then you take them back to like camp and you give them to your camp cook, or you can sell them. You can sell them at like a butcher. And in fact, I might do that. Do I have an outfit on my horse? Yeah. This is my... Oh no. That's got a coat too. No, that's not the one I want. Nope. Yeah, well, you know what? I probably just don't have... I thought I did have one. But it looks like I just have, like, my coat, my panther, and whatever else. And I'm too hot. And you know what?
I'm just fine without your company.
Okay, so I lied. All these assholes down in the south are, like, really mean to me right now. But normally they're really nice to me. They're just doing this because, like, because I said they were nice. Normally people are really sweet down here, so we're gonna go and do some custom outfits. One of which has to be a... This is where camp is hidden.
Yeah.
And you can hit a tree on your horse. If you hit a tree on your horse, you take damage. It's pretty funny. They don't let you run in camp, and that is just a crying shame. It takes me fucking forever to get through camp. What? It won't let me greet Bill. Come on, Bill. The dog's name is Kane.
See at least a few more days.
Arthur.
No, I don't want to talk to Dutch. Fuck you, Dutch. Alright, change clothing. Alright, outfits. That one's on. Let's see. Let's see. What do I want to do? No coat. I bought Arthur a lot of clothes recently because I had like a lot of money. I never said what trope I like to write the most. You know, I really don't know. I really don't know. That's a real tough one. I think I don't really like misunderstandings between characters, especially ones that come from like characters lying to each other. I like characters keeping things from each other, sometimes, but not all the time. Do I have to wear suspenders? Oh, I guess I do, or else Arthur's pants will fall down. Let's see. What kind of bandana can Arthur wear? Just one. I think we're good with this. Oh, but I want to save it on my horse. Alrighty. Outfits. I want to save this one. Alright. Because I want to be able to... But I need to put it on my horse. Is it not on my horse? Outfits. Oh, I always forget how to do the custom outfits. Okay, it's on my horse. What's this one? Okay. That's outfit 3. Wait, this is outfit 4. This is outfit 3. Oh, that's on my horse. Okay. There's 2. There's 1. That's really all I need. Alright. You can play 5 Finger Fillet. It's so hard Does D&D ever make you think about writing in medieval times or in a fantasy universe? It makes me think about a fantasy universe. It really does. It makes me think about a fantasy universe. But the amount of... And, okay, this is a total cop-out for me because I write in ABO, so there's a lot of world building in ABO, but I feel like there's twice as much world building in a fantasy universe. And I'm like... Oops, I didn't do the deer. Arthur, dang it. Why didn't you remind me? D&D definitely makes me think of a fantasy universe. I constantly am like, oh, you know, I could do this, but also, like, then I would have to do, you know, blah, 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 and blah, 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 because,
Well done, Mr. Morgan.
because all this stuff, like, all this idiotic stuff that I think is a thing. Is my horse not? My horse isn't close enough.
Bye, Arthur.
If I were to do a fantasy universe, it would probably be something like pretty dark. I think.
You alright, girl?
See, that's another thing that like I think about, but also like how the logistics of it like are beyond me. All right. Hitch horse. There. Now she'll be close enough I can get this deer off of her, because this icky deer.
Hi, Arthur.
I don't think about writing medieval, and the reason I don't think about writing medieval is because I know, like, jack shit about medieval. Kane, get...
You okay, boy?
Such a cute little dog. Alright, so, like, I don't know, like,
Just in time.
I don't know jack about medieval times. I don't know jack about, like,
Very good. We
all
were giving
sorts
orders.
of
Good job,
stuff.
Mr.
Like,
Morgan.
that I also don't know almost anything about like Roman and like Greek stuff. Like I know plenty about Roman and Greek mythology, but I don't know anything more about Greek mythology, but I don't know anything about like that time period just because I didn't study that in college. Oh, there's blood on my horse.
You're alright.
I didn't study that in college, so I don't write it. Victorian is like somewhat easier for me. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong thing. Victorian's a little bit easier for me because, like, do I have any business writing anything other than Victorian fiction? I read so much fiction. Let's see if we can find this, like, hideous yokel who tries to rape Arthur because he is just awful. I think it's this one right here. Pretty sure it is. And I killed him, but also, like, if you don't go through the mission, the stuff that happens, things will respawn. So if Arthur's not raped by that guy, the guy will respawn, no matter how many times you kill him. But if I go through with it and I let Arthur, you know, get his little booty tainted, and I kill the guy, he won't spawn. He won't respawn. At least that's how I understand how this game works. There's a lot of random encounters, like along the road that will respawn even if you go through them. But there are some big ones that just never respawn. So I think that would count as like one of the bigger ones that doesn't respawn. It is kind of fucked. But we're gonna go kill him. He's like a total creepo. Like, there's a good kind of flirting, like the kind of flirting that Albert Mason does with Arthur, and Arthur totally flirts back, and he's totally into it, and you know it. Canonically, I think canonically Arthur's supposed to be straight, but he's definitely bisexual. Just judging mainly on his interactions with Albert Mason, the wildlife photographer, who is so gay. He's super gay. Oh no, that was a reddish egret, and I need to study one for my compendium. Oh no. Arthur is a total zoologist. Like no wonder Albert Mason finds him so attractive, because he just studies animals through his binoculars constantly. And I also, every once in a while I photograph stuff. I found a wolf that I wanted to photograph, and of course, like, it attacked me. But I almost had the perfect shot, which is what wildlife photographers say all the time. Alright, we're gonna blow this guy's brains out. Because he's a creep. He's a total creep. I'm pretty sure this is where we're going. I'm not 100%. His house might be a little smaller than this. But I knew it wasn't too far. It wasn't too far out of the city. I remember, like, being really shocked that I hadn't run into it before.
Yep. Whoa!
Yeah, this is totally it. Let's see if he respawned. I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay there.
I think this is it. Usually he's like out on the front porch. I'm pretty sure this is the guy's place. At least I thought it was. Maybe he didn't respawn after the last time. Or maybe I'm just here at the wrong time of day. No, wait. I'm not walking in there. Because the way how he ends up, you know, whatever, is because he walks into the house. This is totally the house, but he's not here right now, so maybe it's the wrong time of day. Or maybe he didn't spawn after last time, but I'm pretty sure I saw him not too long ago, so that is definitely the house, though. Well, lucky he ain't here, because I would have totally fucked him up. There's also ghosts in this game. You can go ghost hunting. Let's see. Which Omegaverse trope do you like the least, and which do you like the most? My most hated Omegaverse trope, has got to be using Omegas as slaves, or like portraying Omegas as a slave-like function. I can't stand reading like outright abuse given a pass because of Omegaverse, used as like a slavery, used as like a kink. That is definitely my most hated Omegaverse trope. Another kind of like weird Omegaverse thing that I dislike but I don't hate, is when Omegas have like 5 kids, when they have litters.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Oh, do you have the time there?
I'm afraid
There he goes.
I don't know.
There he flirting.
Okay, thanks anyway.
Au revoir.
When they have litters, I don't do the whole like like Omegaverse litter thing. I think you have one kid. One kid's plenty. One kid is enough. Twins if you must. But having 5 kids, not every Omegaverse Oma and mother can be Octomom. Like, it's just not how it should work. Ghost hunting is awesome. You have to be in the swamps between, I believe it is 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. and or sometime around there. And it has to be foggy. And it's not raining, foggy. And you will run into the ghost. There's like 12 different encounters, and there's a woman's ghost. And like at first it's just her voice, and man, I tell you what, I nearly pooped my pants the first time I heard it. But you hear her voice like 3 times, and then on the 4th time you actually see her apparition, and you can follow her, but you like don't get too close. And she will like, it's a pretty sad story. And I won't give any spoilers for that one because that's like a pretty sad story. Do alligators get you? Yes, they do. They do get you. If you get too close, alligators get you. It's horrible. It's because you can't even do anything. Like you can get away like one time, and like after that, that's it. Oh no, I'm gonna hit that guy. Let's see. Are there any alligators out here? Oh, I don't see any alligators out here. That's funny. Oh, there's some plants I want, though. Sometimes there's alligators. Just like kind of like chilling in places that you would not expect them to be. Oh my god, the alligators in this game are ruthless, cause like you won't notice them. They blend into the background, and they'll just rip you to shreds. It's horrible. Like every bad thing that can happen to you, like in the wilderness, can happen to you in this game. It's horrible. Let's see if we can find any alligators, because they are just awful. Sometimes they're in the water, and like you'll know they're in the water because you'll feel your, like if you are in the water, they'll like brush up against you. What kind of horse is that? Oh, it's a Tennessee Walker.
Hey there, partner.
Oh, okay, ignore me. Alright, dick. Yeah, there's gotta be some alligators. That's not... That looks like some over there. And your horse will get nervous around alligators. Nope, those are boars. Boars are the worst. I hate them so much. They make the most hideous sound. They like start screaming like that. Let's see. Oh, there's an alligator right over there. Oh, there's one too. Alright. My horse is gonna get nervous. This looks like a tiny alligator. Oh, maybe it's just under the water. It's right there. No, that's not what I want, but right there. And it's dead. That looks like a tiny one. There are small alligators. And you can take their pelts. Like, you can take, like, an alligator skin. But it takes up, like, a big piece of your, like, a big chunk of your horse's, it's like putting a deer carcass on your horse. They are so ruthless. I mean, yeah, they're ruthless, like, in-game, but they are so ruthless, like... I should probably pick something to do. I'm supposed to be finding mushrooms and feeding them to my horse, but I don't remember where mushrooms grow specifically. So, maybe I should find, like, another treasure. There's weapons expert. Oh, this is my problem. Kill 3 enemies in 10 seconds using only throwing knives. You know how many times I have tried to do this? You have to kill 3 people with throwing knives in 10 seconds. And like every time I think it's 10 seconds, it's got to be like 11 seconds because I never get it. I'll like go out trying to find people to murder. and and they have to be enemies. They have to be enemies. Like they can't just be rego people on the street. They have to be like if you're a mean person, they have to be police officers. If you're a nice person, they have to be like bandits. Like and I try to play nice Arthur. I feel like that's hard mode for this game. Let's go right here. This is a...
Yep.
Okay, so, which trope do I like the most in Omegaverse? I like the trope of a strong Omega. I like the trope of like Omegas overcoming some great injustice or like some part of their anatomy that you know everybody else thinks is a detriment to them, but they use as a they like weaponize it so that it helps them. You know, like I really like Wolf using his heat to entice Vero to get what he wanted. Like weaponizing a piece of him that had originally caused him pain. I really like Omegas taking uncommon scenarios and you know, being able to turn them into their favor by use of manipulation. And that goes for like betas as well. I like not to turn it into like a huge like alphas versus omegas versus betas, you know. But I like turning, like seeing the tropes and then turning the tropes on their heads. Like I like seeing the classic iterations of the dynamics and then making that the exception, you know. Like I want Omegas to seem like the unlikely heroes and heroines, the same way that a lot of time like women are in real life, you know, like classic fiction. I like reading women as protagonists, and I like reading Omegas as protagonists. Same kind of feel. Every once in a while, like this sinister music will play, and it's almost like you're playing a horror game, but you're not. Let's see what's over here. This looks like it might be an enemy camp.
Whoa, easy.
I believe we are going to fuck some people up. A lot of times you can't tell what is an enemy until you're close. But there's a lot of, like, if you run into like circled wagons, they're an enemy. Like, whoever is there is an enemy. Oh my god, I like vaporized him. Uh-oh. Somebody just shoot my horse? Oh.
Yeah.
Now you guys are dead.
Yeah, there's a girl.
Alrighty. If you guys are gonna shoot my horse, we're just gonna leave my horse. And we're gonna go on foot. I don't have any cover.
Every one of us O'Driscoll's gonna
Yeah, they're O'Driscolls. Oops.
say goodbye. You ain't gonna get enough. That it, you bastards? Oh, shit.
Alright. If you were to write in another time period, which would you pick? Whew. I've done contemporary. I've done the golden age of piracy. I've done Victorian. I think if I were to write in like a totally new one, I would do like I might do Great Depression or World War II. I could do World War One, but World War Two is just a little bit more interesting. I could do like post World War One, when like during Spanish influenza. I can do Europe. I can definitely do Germany post 1919. Not that difficult. I could probably do like late 1800s. I could probably do Regency and Victorian. There are differences. There are huge differences. But I could probably, it's enough that I could definitely do that. I've read a lot of Regency romances as well. Oh, the French Resistance. The French Resistance I could definitely do. Like French Revolution. What in the world is my map trying to do? 1, 2, 3. Alright. Alright, we're going all the way over there. Alright.
Yep.
I can definitely do like French Revolution. Now French Resistance that has gone through like so many different like stages. And in fact, I would say that the French Resistance, there's always a French Resistance going on. The French are just like that. They're contrarians. Which is not a bad thing. Let's see. Email had another question that was more of a biology question. Since presenting as a dynamic is basically like going through puberty, are there cases of very early presentations, and does it bring about any sort of health problems? There are very early presentations. When she moves further on this question, you touched on Quinn and Theo having very early presentations, so I just got curious if that's like healthy and if it happens often. It does not happen often. It is not a very common thing. You're more likely to present early if you are a woman, whether you are an omega or an alpha. It doesn't matter, but you're more likely to present earlier as a woman, and you are more likely to present later if you are a man. The in terms of like how healthy that is, I wouldn't say that there was very many health problems with that, mainly because actual puberty happens usually before you present as anything. Like first puberty, I guess, would be that, where you know, develop your secondary sex characteristics for like male or female, you know, and you know, I think if there were cases where kids were presenting as alphas or omegas before they were going through like first puberty, I think that would pose some challenges for them. But I think that would be extremely rare. I think that would be like one of the rarer things. What a good question. Good Lord. Betas are not affected as much as omegas by alpha voice. A lot of omegas are like compelled to respond to alpha voice, whether that's by freezing or like freezing in place, or allowing that alpha to determine like what they're doing. Like for example, Lottie being compelled to stop that alpha when she is told stop that alpha. A lot of omegas will be compelled to do something. A beta will not be. And actually, in all actuality, an alpha using alpha voice on even someone that they have marked can be considered an act of violence. This is so stupid. I'm still gonna do it. Oh, this is so stupid. I'm still gonna do it. I am gonna do it. Oh, I'm a dumb son of a bitch, but I'm gonna do it. Oh no, I have to cross again. No! Oh my god! And you know what? I'm gonna race it here too. Woo! You can tell the engineer's mad at me.
Good morning.
I think an alpha using alpha voice literally on anyone can be considered an act of violence. Just because I feel like it's a vestige of some survival instinct from way back in the day, and it has no actual function in polite society. It has no in an actual society. There is no reason that an alpha should ever have to use their alpha voice, but they will do it as like a flex, you know. And like I feel like
Morning. Hey there.
I feel like using it is
You arrange a bath? I need a wash.
just something that polite alphas just don't do. And it can be an accident that they use it. A lot of alphas may not have like a good control over their own voice. Arthur has to take a bath. You know what? Yeah, we'll have the ladies in here.
Sit back and relax.
I don't know. I don't think there would be a charge for using alpha voice
Hope the water's hot enough.
against, you know,
If you don't mind, I ain't in much of a talking mood.
Oh, of course. Sure.
but like, say you used alpha voice, like
Don't
in the
forget to wash the
commission
rest
of
of
a
it.
crime.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would stack, like it would be an extra charge. Kind of like using
I
a
reckon you should wash somewhere
firearm
else.
during the course of a robbery, or like having a firearm during the course of a robbery, or you know, it'd just be kind of like an extra charge to add on. I think it would be like a spot of contention, like, oh, you know, he used his alpha voice on me, you know. It'd be just kind of like one of those things. Oh, how dare he use his alpha
Alright,
voice
I
on
think that
you,
should
you
do
know. I don't think it's something that you would see a lot in like a lot of contemporary alphas doing. I don't think it would be socially acceptable at all. And with that in mind, like, I think alpha voice in my Victorian series is just like something like, oh yeah, that's something alphas do, you know. That's just boys will be boys.
Come on, girl.
I think the whole idea of alpha voice is just utterly just compelling for me. Like, and seeing how it would be like implemented, like the in contemporary fiction, you know, all these avenues to explore, like, oh, all this world building that you would have to do. That's just kind of like, I love watching the horses walk. But I need to get out of this guy's way. I think in my personal opinion, there's a lot of Omegaverse that doesn't make sense in certain settings. So like certain time periods, or certain places, like Victorian England. I mean, you know how much just warped world building I had to do for it to fit into Victorian standards. Like,
So, what are you aiming for
absolutely just the weirdest.
Okay, now let me
Just the weirdest flex, you know. It's like weird flex, but okay. Some of the weirdest stuff, you know. There's no way that a lot of this stuff would ever fly. The whole like heats and blah 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 and everything's like super sexual and like sexualized. There's no way that
The more bounty posters that go up, the more people flock to my shop. Plenty of reason for that, Valentine.
there's no way that Victorian sensibilities would have ever like evolved in this society. But, you know, I set it up so that it would work, and I did it because, you know, I could.
Hey there, mister.
It's almost like developing this. Oh, can I not buy one? Maybe I'm already up to date. It kind of does work with the debutante social setup, but I mean, if you really think about it, you know, like with the way that alphas and omegas are like set up, the way that their biology is concerned, I mean, I don't think any of that weird sexual bullshit would ever fly in an omegaverse. setting. But I'm gonna put it in there because people are weird, and yeah, anything can happen. Truth is stranger than fiction, so might as well make fiction really fucking weird.
Easy there, girl.
With with certain other aspects, gosh, I don't know where mushrooms are. You know what? I should look at my map, because sometimes the map has like little mushrooms. He draws little mushrooms on the map sometimes. Oh, there's some. Blah, 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 blah. I keep losing my train of thought. With, it's not like Omegaverse happens, you know, in a vacuum, you know, and it's not like these social social taboos and mores happen in a vacuum either. And I think that's why I created like very specific types of behaviors for the omegas and for the alphas and for the betas that go along with their dynamics and make it a little bit more catered toward the ABO genre, the ABO trope, where, like, for example, the omegas cluster together in one big cluster, and the reason that they do so is to protect themselves from being, you know, taken outside. You know, if there's alphas with this ability to compel them vocally to go outside with them, they need to have some kind of way to protect themselves, and one way is for the entire group to get together and rely on each other. If you know, these alphas have these scents that are overbearing, they're going to want to have their own place where they can take refuge and have their own scents that are very sweet and, you know, able to cut through the massive amounts of alpha scents. It just, I tried to make it so that it would make plenty of sense the way it was, and I wouldn't have to change too much about the way everything worked in verse. I don't read a lot of other historical Omegaverse that is in any way similar to mine. Usually it's got like a very different feel to it. A lot of times it's beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. It's written beautifully. It's incredible. There's a lot of historical Omegaverse out there that I am so jealous of, just because of the author's ability to craft these masterful these masterful sentence structures and paragraphs and dialogue. I mean, some of it is just it's awe-inducing. There's mushrooms on the Downs Ranch somewhere. Over here somewhere. Oop, oop. This is not mushrooms, but we will pick it anyway. I've read like a lot of fan fiction that has been based, you know, in Omegaverse, and whether or not it's historical, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It's not it's the way that they integrate it. I don't know if this is good for my horse or not. I don't know. Do I have to feed it to my horse like after the first time I pick it or what? Let's see. Oops. Damn it. Are you gonna feed the horse the mushroom? I am going to make my horse so fat. Oh, I can't do it. Okay, alright, well. We're gonna just pick all these. I made my... I'm gonna make my horse so fat. I ran out of questions from the Discord, so if you think of anything else, please ask it, because I totally ran out. Oh, it's over there. But I'm still playing Red Dead. I can't stop myself. I think when it comes to Omegaverse, and like my relationship to Omegaverse and being able to kind of integrate it into like my vision of society in like a historical context, it comes down to like what I can see as a historian and like what I can imagine as a historian and what I can see happening as a historian, and there's not a lot that I cannot see happening, and even if I couldn't see it happening, I want to remain as faithful to the historic fact as humanly possible. Like suspension of disbelief starts nowhere. Like I want to make it as believable as possible, and I want to cater the Omegaverse around history and not the other way around. I will never alter history because I personally don't believe that something historical would or wouldn't happen in like an Omegaverse setting. I would never have the human arrogance, like the utter arrogance, to believe that any aspect of humanity would change so inherently as to make certain things impossible. I don't think any historical event would have changed with Omegaverse in play. JFK would have still been shot. Lincoln would have still been shot. McKinley would have been shot. You know, like all these different things. Like how could I ever possibly say like that any historical event would not have happened just because I'm writing an historical Omegaverse? That would not. Let's see. I don't have to kill this deer, but I want to kill this deer. Stop moving. She was definitely closer to me than I thought she was. That was a long range scope, so. I did have an idea for a dystopian Omegaverse. The most interesting aspects of dystopian Omegaverse is how the dystopia happened, and I think that's the same for other dystopian fictions as well. But when it comes to, I love these people that pop in, and I'm pretty sure they're like from Twitch, and they're like, oh, she's playing online. No, absolutely not. I'm not playing online. Fuck online. Fuck online Red Dead Redemption. It's an awful shit show of a game, and single player is so much infinitely better. What was I saying? Shoot. Dystopian Omegaverse. I had a dystopian Omegaverse, like Drabble. I forget. I think it was on Patreon, and like the idea was that upon presentation. Oh, okay. So in my version of reality, there is no such thing as the Tangerine Nightmare. Okay, I lie, but also, I think I just got like, I got the heebs from that, the heebie-jeebies. My dystopia was based on the idea that upon presentation, alphas and omegas were they became feral, so they would just like return to nature and just become, you know, part of nature. They were just very animalistic, and they couldn't function in society anymore, so they would just leave society and they would go live in like, where the heck am I? Oh no, is that because it's foggy?
Hey there, pal. Can you help me?
Oh, he drunk.
Could use some help finding my way home. I can't make heads or tails of where I'm at. I live in front of the saloon next to the freight station. Wish they all came in like this. If I'm heading in the right direction.
Sure. Just head over that way. You'll get home fine.
Thank you, mister.
Oh, he's
Certainly
fucking
do
drunk.
appreciate it. Certainly do.
For a second, I thought he was gonna get on my horse and I was gonna have to like fuck a bitch up.
Who's got mouths to feed, huh? Give him one of these ribs, just watch him grow.
Is he even gonna make it? Sometimes that happens where like drunk people will like ask you for assistance, and then, you know, they'll be like, can you wait here with my cart, you know, and like this cart that like crashed because I'm so fucking drunk, and then you'll like wait there for a little bit, but they'll never come back, and like you'll find them sleeping like a couple of yards away.
Hello, mister.
Jackass. Well, they don't like me here because I fought a guy and I hit him so hard that he became mentally incapacitated, like for the rest of his life. Like I maimed him. Aw, he found his house.
Just over here. This must be it.
Oh no, what if he goes in this house and it's not his house? Yeah, what if he just wanders off into the wilderness? You know, like, there's weird shit that happens in this game. Like, he's gonna walk into this house and it's not even gonna be his house.
Let me in, woman!
You've been drinking again?
Oh!
I love this.
Well, you can go ahead and sleep it off
Oh,
outside.
this is a disgrace.
You can literally rob anyone, too. Oh, no, he's puking. Oh, come on, buddy.
Well, that was sad.
Oh, no, now he's going to sleep in it. I love Arthur. Wow, that was sad. Yeah, thanks, Arthur.
Extra, extra. All your newsworthy needs in one page.
What's wrong with this place? Ah.
This is My Little Pony, the game. No lie.
Let's go, girl.
Alrighty.
Okay there?
I love Arthur's voice too, and like the guy who did his voice is like pretty handsome, in like a Arthur Morgan kind of way. So like that always like makes me really happy, 'cause Arthur is just an absolute babe. Oh my God, he's so sexy.
Hey, mister.
Hey, mister. Sometimes like when you're riding around, like you'll be like, hey, mister. Let's see, what do we want to do? This game can be really boring, like for people watching. So I apologize. This game can get a little weird, a little boring. Because like a lot of stuff is based on like timing and kind of exploring and just like wandering around. So sometimes it's a little difficult to get like excitement in this game. What is that? I forget. And of course they don't. I gotta feed my horse these mushrooms. I have to pick mushrooms and then do it. 1,000 followers on your inspirational quotes page this week. That's awesome. That's amazing. Well, obviously you have like the best information and inspirational quotes. I can't speak. Just don't pay attention to me. I can't fucking talk. This looks like a mushroom. Let's go find that.
Please, I got nothing to do with this one.
Now, I'm pretty good at getting not safe for work on these. So, is this really your inspirational quotes page, or was it a different page? Because I know your other page is really popular.
No meal is complete if it don't got meat. Come on.
Daily inspirational glory hole quotes. Heck yeah, I knew it. Over 1,000 followers, damn straight. Because everybody needs daily inspirational glory hole quotes. Coming from an erotica writer. You know what's one of my favorite things to do in this game? I love to follow rude people and get them alone and then lasso them off of their horses. Because karma, Arthur is just an agent of karma. Like, if you're rude, you're gonna get lassoed off your horse. Damn.
Hi there, mister.
Hi there, mister. I was trying to do all of the horseman challenges. I forgot this was a forum centered on erotica, so I was like, better keep it safe for work. Yeah, no. No, I write about dicks and vaginas. Do you like how I used the proper word for vaginas, but dicks? I'm just like, dicks! 'Cause dicks. This game is so beautiful. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. Speaking of beautiful, I was at work today, and we had this dog that was supposed to. It was it had a tiny solar panel on the back of its head, and its eyes were these. It was like an eldritch horror. Its eyes were these like little miniature like emergency lights, where it's like those reflective lights, and it was horrifying. It was terrible. It was just absolutely hideous. And so it didn't work because the switch mechanism was broken. So I fixed the switch mechanism. And then when I went to go try it out, Arthur, you can't get up this? Come on, what kind of mountain man are you? There we go. When I went to go try it out, it still didn't work, and I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Come on, it said there was mushrooms up here. No mushrooms. Come on. It said there was mushrooms up here. It's berries. A real dog for a second with solar panels. Well, could have been. But yeah, it was like it was like supposed to sit outside, I guess, and you know, and soak up the rays and I don't know, have its weird creepy eyes like shine with light. And oh, there's a train. And I was like, ugh, it's just horrible. It's honestly horrible. Like, I don't know whoever thought this was a good idea, but it didn't work still after I fixed the thing. So I just popped the creepy light eyes out, and I took out the whole solar panel mechanism, and I crafted up googly eyes for him. And like, we just happen to have like perfectly sized googly eyes, and like, I put a little piece of felt on the back of the googly eyes, and I glued the felt to the back so that the googly eyes like perfectly fit in to the holes made left over from the lights being taken out. No mushrooms. I can't see any mushrooms up here. Like, why did it say that there were mushrooms up here if there aren't any? What's over here? Maybe there's mushrooms over here. Oh, yes, there are. I don't know if you can give these mushrooms to a horse. The amount of jerry rigging. Okay, but not gonna lie, it looks way better than how it originally came, like straight out of the box. Like it was a horrifying looking critter. And of course I take it over and I'm like, look at how cute it is now, and everyone's like, oh, it's so much better than it was. But of course, like, there's a big giant gaping hole in the back of its head that I had to cover up with oh, that's not what I picked though. I had to cover it up with like felt and like a little piece of something. And can I give him the other? Oh, I could if I could her. It's a girl horse, but whatever.
Nice and easy.
But it was just so much better looking. It was just so much better looking than how it was before. And okay, but wouldn't you know it, I show it to Don, and you know, nobody else knows who Don is, but Don's the boss. And I show it to Don, and he's like, "Oh, we could sell that." And I'm like, "We can't sell this. We just made it into a totally different product." Like, it still has like a JFK head blown out thing up the back of its head. Like, like I had to cover it up with felt. Like, I'm looking at him like, what do you think I'm gonna sell this for? The original product was like $14.99. Is that a bear? Oh, it is. Get away from me, bear. So, of course, like, I laughed about that. And also, like, the glue wasn't dry, and I'm pretty sure even when the glue dries, like, you would be able to pop the little eyes out, like, way too easily. Like, far too easily.
Hold now. Shh. It's okay.
Is that still the bear?
Let's go. Take it easy.
I don't know what I'm doing. Guess I'm wearing my horse out so I can give her some mushrooms. Like, do I have to pick it and then give it to her, like, right away? I'm gonna be real peeved. Pick 5 mushrooms. Oh, no. I'm 4 out of 5, so I should be able to just, if I can feed her a mushroom. Okay, alright. Mushrooms fed to horse. We're good. What's next? I feel like this game is like so slow. Craft 9 items using Indian tobacco as an ingredient. Alright, let's do it. I don't think I have 9 Indian tobaccos is going to be my real problem. I should have 9 Indian tobaccos, but I have a tendency to use those. And I do remember what they look like on the map. Oh my gosh, I love cats. Okay, so I think that's like one of those things. I wonder if this is the Indian tobacco. It might be. I thought I remembered what it looked like on the map. Where am I? I'm over here. I fucking love cats. Cats are just so beautiful. That's one of the great things about having like all lesbians as my patrons. That's one of like my favorite things about having like all lesbians. Which I don't know how I ended up with all lesbians as my patrons, because like I write about dicks. So at least I did write about dicks. Now I'm writing about lesbians because, well, that's just the way it is. I'm pretty sure that's the Indian tobacco. I'm not 100%. I know there's some down here. That's gotta be it. That's gotta be it. If it's not it, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. Let's go to that one, because that one's pretty easy to get to. Alrighty.
Yep.
And there's plenty of Indian tobacco like all over the place, but he only writes it down on the map like in a couple different places. So there is smoke up here. Let's see what this is. Oh, berries. This actually might be some. Nope, those are carrots. Whatever, I'm gonna pick them. I got to pet a cat on the way home today on Fillmore. It's that cat that sits outside that one house on Fillmore and just adorable. And ran up to me to get petted. Just the cutest fucking cat. Oh my god, cats are so perfect. I keep trying to get Graham to get a cat, and she's just like, but we're going on vacation. And I'm like, so? Let's get one after we go on vacation. What's that? That better be like something cool. Yeah, ginseng. Love that shit. I love how Arthur runs. He's like, yeah, let's go murder something. Yay. What if it eats the bird? That would be the end of that cat, but... I still might like it. Maybe. But I love cats.
If I wanted your company, I wouldn't be set up out here. Get away from me.
Just minding my own business.
What kind of horse you got? Oh. Not a good one.
Go on, get.
I'm going on and getting you, piece of shit. If you don't go on get, they like start getting hostile.
Yeah.
There's so many plants that you can pick. I don't know what's over here. Oh, it's time, which is fine. I think the best thing that writing for lesbians affords me is the ability to write a lot of cats into my fiction. Just because it seems to be like a normal thing for lesbians to absolutely just love cats. I love all animals. I am a cat, dog, bird, rat, love animal person. So I am so all about writing. Like, I love horses. I'm not a horse person though. You know how like horse people are. Like they can be absolutely nutso fucking crazy. I don't know. Why am I going into cinematic camera? It's like prompting me to go into cinematic camera to show me devastation. The logging company. Dog people can get that way, but like in a weird way, like in like an animal, like with a lot of animosity. That's what I mean. Like,
Yep.
Horse people are just like, horses are amazing, horse is this, and horse is that, and horse is the other thing. And when it comes to, like, dog people, they're just like, a cat murdered my whole family. You know, like, they're just like, dogs are the only pure creature on earth. Cats murder people. Oh, don't even get me into competition dog breeders. They are the worst. They're like, oh, this is my Doberman whose sire is, you know, such and such. And like, how dare you not know who this beautiful, you know, dog is? How could you not know?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's a person. Holy shit. Scared the shit out of me. I thought it was a bear at first. I was gonna be like, oh shit, we're fucked. Yeah, true. Horse people will wear shirts with horses on them, but like like the kind of shirt, like the white trash shirt with like the kind with like wolves on them, but with horses on them. Like, I don't know what this is. This looks like tobacco. Nope, wild mint. Fuck. How come I don't know what the fuck? Like, and I try to describe this to people, like those heavy fabric t-shirts with like the horses on them. They're like, oh, this is my horse shirt, it looks just like my horse. And I'm just like, okay. It's like, and people with dogs are totally like that, where they'll buy a coaster that they have no reason to buy just because it kind of looks like their dog. And like, if you've got a weird dog, I could totally see that. Like, if you've got like a dog that's not a normal type of dog, I can see that. But it's kind of like people who are like really into ABO and Omegaverse, like if they come across like Omegaverse merchandise or something, some of them get that way, where it's like, oh, this is my people, this will help me find my people. And it's like, no, it's not like D&D where you wear D&D shirts and people recognize them. Like, it's not really like that. Horse people are way out there, like, and but you've got to be to spend all your money on a horse, like, because you can buy a relatively like cheap horse for like the same amount as you would buy like a relatively cheap car, like $500 to $1,000 for like a relatively cheap horse. At least that's what I understand about like how much a horse would cost. If somebody has any other information on that. But when I was talking to the horse people that I know, they're like, oh yeah, you can get like a relatively cheap horse for like $500, and like if you wanted a really really shit horse, probably less than that. But and like we have patrons who are horse people, but not crazy horse people. But you got to be somewhat crazy to own a horse and like spend so much money on your horse, and like dedicate like hours of like every day on your horse. And like, I guess it's more like owning a horse is more like having a hobby than having a pet. And you have to treat it like a hobby rather than a pet, because they can't just take care of themselves. They can't muck out their own stalls. They can't, there's all this dirty, nasty, gross shit that comes with owning a horse. And like, and if it's not you mucking out the stall, you have to spend money on the people who are going to do it for you. Yo, you just want hot, stable hands. That's totally a kink. I'm sorry. I've got your number, babe. Like, hot, stable hands are a kink. But like, I feel like, you gotta really like budget out your time, you gotta budget out your money, you gotta like treat horses like they're not your pets. They're like a job or a hobby. And I feel like it's really important to make that distinction, because dog people are dog people because they have like some kind of like breed loyalty. Whereas horse people are horse people because they have this crazy hobby that they're into, kind of like building model trains or I don't know, considering I'm, taking up archery, let's say archery, like they, or like writing, like I'm really dedicated to writing, and if they're dedicated to horses, it's the same kind of deal. And I mean, horses aren't a bad hobby to have. They're very personable. They're giant couches with anxiety, like, but they're beautiful. I mean, just look at how this horse is rendered. Like, look at how she moves. Like, I absolutely love like the way horses move, the way that their bodies are constructed. Like, I don't know, maybe it's like a very female thing to like be just fascinated by horses. I don't know. I have no idea if it's like, because little girls love horses. I don't know what it is about little girls and horses, but that's my little girl and me coming out. I fucking love horses. They're so adorable. They're very cute. They're huge. They're utterly ginormous. Like a horse head is the size of my torso, and you don't really understand like how big a horse is until you're standing right next to one, and and their head is right there, and you're like, wow, your head is the size of my body. Especially when they're, this horse is like 5 inches long on my screen. So let's see. What's out here? What's out here? Who's out here?
Easy.
That doesn't surprise me. The guitar people are really weird, None of these pronghorns are 3 stars. They're all 2 stars. If something's 1 star, like, you know it. Like, their coat is all fucky. That's alright. We don't need any of you anyway. Whoops. Who's over here? What? Were there more over here? I forget. There's some plants, though. Let's not take this. Every once in a while, I run into dudes who are like just wandering around who want to murder me. Not bounty hunters, don't worry, I don't have any bounties on me. It would show up. But like every once in a while there's just like dudes chilling who like ambush you or something. I know there's tobacco down south. Wow, that sounds terrible. That's a carrot. You know what? I think those drawings on his map are carrots. Maybe. What's this? Yeah. I think when you have any hobby, you really, your whole world just becomes like that hobby. What part of the country is this? This is called the Heartlands. This is supposed to resemble like the prairies. You can find all sorts of American landscapes in this game. You can find like snowy mountains. There's snowy mountains. There's the prairies. There's southern cities like Louisiana's New Orleans down south. That's Saint Denis. Let's see. This is like prairie land. Down here where you can't get to because I have a bounty that's like dead or alive. This is like western. It's like like great Western movie Western. This is like mountain, like cold mountain area. That's kind of like it reminds me of the landscape in like Montana with like the mountain area. All pretty much all of Amberino is like Colorado-ish to me anyway. And like up here it gets a little cold. Up here it gets a little cold. This is all snow right up here. This is a forest, like a big foresty area. This is like it's like almost mountainous industry area, and down here is swampland, bayou. This is all like hot Louisiana territory. Oh, hang on. Being part of a community is, to me, rewarding. Mostly because I always think I have something of use to say, I guess. And I mean, that's the only reason I'm live streaming right now, is because I feel like I have something to say, and you know, people say they're interested in what I have to say, which is a little weird to me. I'm not really used to having like anybody really be interested in anything that I have to say, but I'm glad that. Oh.
You come one step closer, we'll kill you dead.
We'll kill you dead. Okay. All right. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see how well you guys kill me dead. There's no cover up here. This is as long as the scope gets. Ah, shit. I missed. Look at them. They're gonna draw their pistols like that's gonna do anything. Alrighty. Let's fucking go, buddy. Their horses run away too, so you can't even steal their fucking horses. Let's see, this is a medium scope. Gotcha, bitch. Nicked ya. See if I can. Oh yeah, headshot. Get you right in the kidney. Oh, I missed. You can't auto aim. There is an auto aim function. But you can't auto aim when you're doing scope. This guy's been shot twice. Arthur can get shot like a bunch of times. These guys get shot like, I don't know. They can take like maybe 3 or 4 body shots. I got him like in the arm there. Oh, there's his 4th, and he's down. There's still one out there, though. There's still one over there. I don't know where he at, though. Oh, there he is. Did he leave? No, there he is. Oh, he running at me.
I play for keeps, mister.
There he goes.
That it, you bastards? Shit.
You know, gunfights would be cooler if I wasn't such, like, a total idiot and, like, came at them from so far away. Like, like, it would definitely be way more interesting if I wasn't sniping. And, like, when you're first playing, you don't have, like, the rifles that you have in this. This isn't, like, this isn't considered, like, late game, but I have, like, late game stuff. And that's mostly because I have done like a ton of challenges, and I did all the hunting required to get the best satchel in the game. So like originally the amount of stuff that you could hold was of concern, and for me, at this point in the game, it is of no concern because I've done all the hunting required to get the best satchel in the game. So I can hold like 99 of everything. Is there anything in here that I want? Is that chewing tobacco? And for some reason it wants me to pick up... No, it's hair pomade. Not that I use it, but I'll take it. I could sell it. We could do the bandit challenges. I forget what the first bandit challenge is. I think it's like rob a couple people, like, but you know, I'm trying to play a good guy, Arthur. Yeah, you have to hold up 5 townsfolk. Like, you have to rob like 5 people. And I don't know if that's like, I know what you mean by not getting not wanting to get caught up in the shared opinions of the group. I totally understand that idea. Oh wait, there was a fire there. We can see if we can craft something for that challenge. Oh, there's carrion birds feeding on the flesh of my victims. Yeah, you know, I think anybody can be impressionable, especially, you know, if it's... How much Indian tobacco do I have? Oh, I have plenty. Stowe. I think anybody can be impressionable when it comes to like potent snake oil. Oh, well, I'll craft that too. When it comes to shared opinions of the group, I think Omegaverse definitely has that that kind of the ability to kind of take someone in and be like, one of us, you know, and I feel like it's very cliquey. There's and I'm not immune to the clickiness of it. There's like certain Omegaverse headcanon writers that I don't like. And the reason I don't like them is not because I don't like their headcanons, it's because they're rude. If you're rude, I don't like you. I don't care how good your headcanons are. If you're rude, you're rude. So I think that's one of the reasons that it's not hard to not get caught up in group opinion, because I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, this is a great idea, you know, because the whole group thinks it's a great idea. I'm going to think, oh, it's a great idea because, you know, because it is a great idea. Even if you are fucking rude. And when it comes to like people who are fucking rude having good ideas, I'm gonna take that good idea and I'm gonna morph it into something that's mine, and I'm gonna use it in my stories. And I think Omegaverse is one of those instances where, you know, a lot of people are like, can I use your headcanon? Can I use your idea? And it's like, do it. It's almost like a group project. Like, I don't care if you use the stuff that I came up with. Those are wild horses in the background. And then there's a lot of people who are like, oh, you can use my idea, just give me credit. And I'm sorry, there's way too many ideas in Omegaverse floating around. You can't keep track of every single idea that you've ever, you know, come across and give credit to every single person. Like when you make a chapter, like that's absolutely ridiculous. If someone were to use my ideas from Omegaverse, 1 of 9 items, excuse me, I believe you are mistaken. Okay, yeah. Pick 15 different species of herb. Okay. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Freaked out from force of being religious. Yes, you know, there is that. You've got this background in this. I think our parents force us to be a lot of things, and you know, your parents just happen to force you to be religious, and you know, my parents forced me to be nice, but but you know what I mean. Where it's like, you know, you've got to. There's a lot of communities out there that don't mean you no harm. You know, they mean you harm, and like for example that double rainbow all the way across the sky. What does it mean? There's like that religious cult. I was just reading about it. I forget what it's called. It starts with an N. You know, these cult members these women were told that they would be mentored and that they would become mentors, and that's a horse.
Hey there, girl.
You know, they were told that they would become mentors, and they told that they were going to be part of a community, and just the idea of being part of a community is something that will make people do anything. The negative emotion of loneliness can really just make you do things that you should not be doing. Like, for example, in this cult, they would coerce these women and convince them to share aspects of themselves, to share information about themselves that would be damning if it ever came out. You know, these secrets that they had. And they would threaten to share this information with outside parties if these women ever said what was going on, you know, where they were being forced to have sex with with the cult leader and you know this man who was was leading like these bands of women and getting them to follow his weird cult like ideals. And like when you have the charisma, when you have the clout, and you know you have all of this stuff going on, it's easy to convince people to do things that they wouldn't normally do. And I guess I shouldn't say it's easy, because I'm sure it wasn't like a cakewalk. But he also had people working for him who were doing this for him, and there were these. But I guess it comes down to recognizing that every community is gonna have good people and bad people in it, and recognizing that every community is going to have nice people and rude people in it, and like taking the good out of the community and leaving the bad, and kind of like, if you don't like it, that's the reason why so many Christian religious sects exist. And it's because, oh, I'm so close. And it's because, you know, they were like, oh, this religious sect is too toxic. We don't want to be part of it anymore. We're going to make our own religious sect, you know, that's not as toxic. Well, surprise, you're both toxic, but in different ways. And I think that's something that happens in like every different community, especially and in the Omegaverse community as well. Is there another horse around here? Just that one. That one's a black one. It doesn't matter, I'm gonna sell him, but oh, there's some deer. I found a Mustang out here one time, and of course I still have him, and his name is Twister, because name your horses after inclement weather. Oh my god! What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, we're reviving this horse. We're not gonna kill him.
Yeah, you're gonna be okay.
My other horse is like, you idiot. Alrighty. Let's fix you up, buddy.
Not bad, girl.
Oh, Jesus, indeed. Like, I did not see that coming. This is why you follow the road. I'm still not going to learn my lesson. I'm not following the road. But I am going to go slower. Sometimes if you go slower, and actually if you have a higher horse bonding level, the horse will stop you and will, like, rear up when you're going toward a ledge like that. And, like, I've been spoiled by these horses rearing up instead of just letting me, you know, drive them into oblivion. But fortunately, I am able to craft horse revivers.
Yep.
Is she gonna jump? Yeah. Sometimes they don't jump either. Like, if you don't have, like, a high enough horse bonding, they won't jump when they're supposed to jump. And, of course, like, you crash into the wall, and it's a bad time. I don't want Clive. I want Clay.
Yep.
There we go.
Always a market for saddlers. Careful, Clive. That's our profits now.
Alrighty. $4.
Come on, girl.
Alrighty. Angel Eyes would never do that to me. She would stop me. And she automatically jumps too, which is nice. Auto jump is always nice. What kind of horse is that? Oh, that's a Tennessee Walker. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh yes, groups. Is $4 a lot? No, $4 is not a lot. I mean, well, I'm obscenely rich in this game. If you were to get a lot of money for a horse, it would probably be like $58. And that'd be for like an Arabian. Where is He needs some milk. Oh, there's some geese.
Yep.
Trying to find some stuff. I need 15 different species of plants. And I know there's stuff down here. This is where the panther was. And I'll tell you what, that was difficult. $4 is like a lot for poor people in this game. Oh no, I just killed another animal. Oh my god, I swear to god I killed so many animals running into them. Oh, back to community and like how it plays into like the idea of shared ideas. There's this. I feel like it's a toxic mentality to believe that your particular version of Omegaverse and your particular, you know, community is not toxic. You know, I feel like my Discord, everyone has an incredible amount of chemistry. Everyone has like this really, really great ability to speak to each other, be respectful. I have not even thought of like imposing like rules for my server, because first of all, I don't have that many people in it, and second of all, everybody's really, really sweet. Everybody's really nice, you know, like we don't have any toxic personalities, and really it only takes one. It only takes one toxic personality to kind of sour people on a community. It only takes one bad preacher in a church, and it only takes one bad vocal member of an Omegaverse community. And you don't have to be rude to be toxic. You know, it can be like a very pleasant conversation, but it'll just leave a bad taste in your mouth, you know. And I feel like we don't have any of that, just because, you know, there's so many just decent people. I hate the wild boars. Well, and I feel like a lot of people have like experience in being a toxic presence, and that's like one of those things where it's like they've realized that they don't enjoy being that toxic presence, just because it makes for a very lonely existence, and that helps them identify toxicity when it's happening, and kind of helps them nip it in the bud, so to speak. Just because it's far easier for them to recognize. Oh yeah. Thank you. I'm supposed to be getting more than this Indian tobacco. I was looking for Indian tobacco, and now all I can find is Indian tobacco, which is fine. This isn't my pet game right now. My pet game is Monster Hunter. But the last time I looked at the poll, it was Red Dead Redemption 2 that everybody wanted to watch me play. So hopefully I didn't get like 2 more votes for Skyrim, or else I just like totally fucked up this whole stream.
Yeah.
Not that Red Dead is, you know, terrible. It's probably just as boring as Skyrim on a stream. Although if I was like 80-something years old and I was like Skyrim grandma, everybody would love to watch me play Skyrim. But I'd be like, oh, look at this bad man. Skyrim grandma is like the best though. There's something over here. You gotta have a sharp eye when it comes to this game. There's probably a panther down here too. Somewhere. Oh, there it is. There's the thing. It's probably ginseng. Yep. The dogfighting pit. I've never found a dogfighting pit in Sky. Like, where is it? Like, tell me where it is. You know, there's so many things in this game that you know, people are like, you have to find this, like the witch's hut. There's like a witch hut. There's the UFO. There's the monk. Oh, yeah, no. I think you'd have a hard time playing this game just because, like, you really do have to have, like, a sharp eye when you play this game, because especially when there's predators, like the panthers and stuff. Like, I could get murdered by a panther down here. There could be, like, a panther just chilling. Look at this beautiful deer. I don't know if I'll be able to kill a deer in real life. There's no way. Outside Rift and along the way to Winterhold. I am totally gonna have to... It's in the mountains, a small path on the outside of the cage. Wait a second! I've been outside that! But I've never been inside all the way. I've never been inside all the way, because I was at a low level when I went to go find that, and if you're at a low level, it's like really difficult. Holy shit, I can't believe I've actually seen that. I was sent on a mission there for some reason, but I didn't have to go all the way inside. Oh. Okay. Uh-huh. That, like, didn't dawn on me that was a dogfighting ring. Like, that was a dogfighting pit. It is. It was super difficult. Like, let's see. There's stuff over here. I feel like a lot of this game stuff is just like so relaxing, and like it doesn't make a very good live stream just because it's like one of those games where it's like we're just gonna take you outside and we're gonna have you walk around and you have to do these like tedious things. And like the fishing in this game, like it's super relaxing. Everything about this game is like really relaxing, except for the story that makes me want to cry. What's over here? Is it still mint? It is. I'm gonna pick it anyway. I need it. There's a ring and a bar and stuff. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go into that. I remember that there was like a bar in one of the dungeons that I went in, but it definitely wasn't that one. And I remember that one was really hard because like I was a spellcaster and like I was like running around, running away from these melee NPCs. Um, because I was trying to get my magic back up, and oh my god. This game is really good for like just talking, like just chatting. Um, just because it's like it's so easy to chat over. Monster Hunter's a little harder to chat over just because, you know, it's kind of work intensive. Um, that's such a good idea. You know, I've only done like the werewolf thing. And to be honest, like werewolf is really only good at lower level. Um, my camera is shaking for some reason. Usually your camera only shakes when like bad things happen. Sometimes it can happen like without. Ba 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 ba. I only did the werewolf one time. It's such a little baby alligator. You can shoot fish in this game. Like, if you can see the fish, you can shoot them. It's a little difficult. I like to shoot the big ones, like the big catfish with the small game arrows, because then you get a perfect catfish.
Yep.
Alright, let's see. Let's go get murdered by a panther. Let's save first. A lot of times I get murdered by a panther just because, like, it's like one of those, they just come out of fucking nowhere and just wreck you. Of course, I could always lure it out. I think I could do that. Do I have any... No, I don't. Alright, this is where we make a camp. If you do the skill tree, yeah, but like I also play survival mode. Oh, I do play past level 50 sometimes. It gets interesting, but only if you're doing like the Markarth quests. Oh, I can't make a potent predator bait. Oh, I know what I need for potent predator bait. Shit. Well, the good news is I'm right where I need to be for potent predator bait. The good news is I'll get what I need right now. Alrighty. They like cheese. You know, I never get bored of Sneak Archer. Like, ever. And I almost never get bored of of like close combat, murder someone with a dagger after sneaking. And I love doing dark elf, like dark elf rogue. I hope this is what I need. It looks like what I need.
Yes, you're okay.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna
keeping
keep
you,
this one.
I'm
I'm gonna
afraid.
get a couple more. At least I hope I'm gonna get a couple more. This game is like, it's not tedious, but there's like, oh, I need to do this thing, but in order to do this thing, I need to do this other thing, and in order to do that thing, I need to do this other thing. And it's kind of like a chain of things that you have to do, and it kind of like so closely resembles like real life, you know, that you're just like, I don't know if I want to do a bunch of errands all the time, but fortunately they're fun errands, like going fishing, and
Ha! You'll do.
they don't make you find bait. You do have to buy bait if you buy like worm bait. But they don't make you find like cheese bait and corn
Let's try
bait
something
and
new.
bread. You can put bread, cheese, and corn on it,
Anything biting, I wonder.
but you need to buy worms and you need to buy crickets. For the lures, you have to like reel them in so that they look like little fishies. Which makes sense. But that's how I get like all my like big fish, is I use the lures. What is this? Well, I don't need that, but I'll keep it anyway. Like if I wanted a big fish, I wouldn't fish here. I don't think there are any big fish right here. But there are bluegills, which give you like a gritty fish meat. And the gritty fish meat is what you need for the potent predator bait, and the potent predator bait is what you need to get a panther. Of course, sometimes the panther gets you instead of the other way around. And as you can imagine, the bigger the fish, the harder they are to reel in. And throw that back.
Maybe next time.
Alright, we got 2. We're good. Yo, panthers are brutal. You know who's even more brutal? The cougar up by Strawberry is absolutely just ruthless. Like, incredible. There we go. I want that. Alrighty. Every once in a while, there's like a sound that I can't identify, and I'm like, what was that animal? Like, was it an animal? This game can be like really scary. Oh, I need to... And here's this. The elk are a horrifying sound. It's like, you know, like it's like this horrifying sound. And also, like, other people are not immune to to the animals in this game. So like if you follow around someone, like there's a decent, that is a panther right there. No fucking way. Oh, it was a 3-star panther, and now it's like a 1-star panther. Ah, fuck. Damn it. Eh, well, I'll skin it anyway. Every once in a while, there's a predetermined chance that if I skin an animal, I will get 3 stars instead of 2. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And nope, it didn't work. That sucks. But you know what? Whatever. I was gonna hunt this panther, but then there's only ever one panther in these woods at a time. Oh, that one was easy. Man, sometimes they're like really hard, or sometimes they just come out of nowhere and they just murder you. I don't know why. Oh, yeah, he drew it right here. The panther usually shows up either down here or in, like, this area over here. Every once in a while, I'll see it over here. Very, very rarely. But it spawns, like, up in here. Which, this is a beautiful area. I absolutely love this area. I think I found everything that there is to find in this area. This is where I found a moose. Everyone's always like, where do you guys find a moose? Well, this is where I found both of my moose. And it's an absolutely stunningly gorgeous area of the map. So is this one though. We were up here for the treasure hunt, but Brandywine Drop is really nice too. Like right up here is beautiful. There's a there's a fish I haven't caught up here. Let's go up here and catch this fish. I am all about this life. There's another cougar that I bet you we're gonna run into up along this path. Ooh, I'm gonna run into people. But considering this is a writing live stream, I should probably talk more about writing. Though I don't, I'm really terrible at like talking about method. Just because like my method for writing and for learning how to write is read a lot. And recently, this I don't want to talk about too many of my peeves, but I get peeved when I start following a writer who is like, I'm a writer, and then they don't want to show anyone any of their writing, and when they do, and I'll follow them and I'll be like, wow, they've got like really great ideas, and this sounds really promising, and then when I do come across a sample of their writing, it ends up being something that peeves me, like I think that was a bear. It ends up being something that peeves me, like a grammatical thing, which there's only really one grammatical thing that authors do that that I really, really, really don't like. And I don't mean conventional authors. I mean just, you know, AO3 authors and like budding writers. They will write their dialogue as one like big giant block of text where they don't differentiate between paragraphs, each character speaking. Giving ideas about technique. Yeah, it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult to give, you know, advice for technique and ideas about technique. It's very difficult for, but is that for the dialogue? Because the dialogue really, really, really gets me. Because recently, very recently, I've been following this writer, and you know, she's been writing for a decently long time. At least I think she has been. Like she says, she has been. And she's like really excited about, you know, putting out her book and you know, she really wants to be conventionally published one day. She'd really like to find an agent. And the unfortunate happenstance is that she put out a screenshot of the book that she was going to self-publish, and that screenshot showed characters speaking to each other in a giant wall of text, and it was nearly impossible to figure out who was saying something and when they were saying it, because it was all just jumbled together. It was like, yes, Leroy stated, no, Parker said, but in the same line, you know, in the same paragraph, which you know, I don't have to tell most veteran writers how just cringy that whole scenario is. That's got to definitely be like on a high list of my peeves, like what I can't stand that like budding writers do. And it's almost like they read fiction but didn't pick up on like the very, very small cues of like what is acceptable, you know, for formatting purposes. And formatting seems to be like almost like the social cues of the writing world is what kind of formatting is appropriate. I do write what I call drabbles, which are just like really short kind of like 2,000 word things.
Good evening, friend.
If that's not what you mean by blurb, you'll have to define blurb for me.
You two quit fighting. Embarrass.
Oh, you think you're real tough too, huh?
Oh.
I was leaving anyway.
From what I understand, you know, agents and publishers seem to have like really weird rules about what they will and will not read. I actually was querying agents for a while for, you know, for works that now I would never even, you know, obviously I had correct formatting, but you know, I now I'm just like, oh yeah, I can do like so much better than, you know, that plot or these characterizations. But I was, you know, researching agents, and I was querying agents for you know, a couple works that I had done, and they had things like, it must be on this weight paper, and it must be stapled every three, you know, every 3 pages, or, you know, like these really, really weird, like caveats, you know, like it must be on this color paper, and you can get it printed at Staples, you know, and they'll know my, you know, everything that I'm talking about, but you won't. Um, so it doesn't surprise me that, you know, an agent or a publisher may not, you know, read something if it's not formatted properly, because I won't, you know, I won't read it. If I won't read it, a publisher definitely won't read it. There's definitely either a bear or a cougar.
I shall help thee.
Oh, it's the blind man. I love you, blind man.
Help a blind man.
Here you go.
He tells you your future.
That which is killing you will help you finally to see. And see clearly, friend. See and hear.
Well, okay then. Thank you, I guess.
Are you still here?
Okay, girl.
What are you waiting for? I can't tell you what you want to hear.
There's definitely a critter over here, I remember. But I don't know what kind of critter it is.
Yep.
And there's Murphys over here too. I could probably tell like half the future. Yeah, I could probably tell like half the future too. Of course, the other half would be like total bunk. I once slept in that house we just passed, like, cause there's nobody in it, so I just slept in it. I was like, this is my bed and breakfast. Like most houses, you know, like they'll have somebody in them, or they'll have like some event that's supposed to happen at them. So they'll be like locked until that event. But that one was just open, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll sleep in an actual bed.
Easy. Whoa. Hurry up. Someone's coming. Someone's coming.
Oh, that's Murphy.
Lift it. Easy there.
These guys are just sick, nasty bastards. Oh, I didn't hit him. I ran into him. Come at me, you dicks. They're over here somewhere. I can't see him. I think you're right. I think it's like, it really is like a writer's intuition, you know, for like what's gonna happen, and like how it's gonna happen, and how it's gonna play out. I'm gonna pick these violet snowdrops. And then I'm gonna fuck these guys up. For my herbalist challenge.
More, of course.
Murphy, take what's ours!
Easy there.
There we go. They're a bunch of idiots. I think when it comes to like getting conventionally published and like agents and stuff, I really don't like to lick people's boots, and I feel like a lot of agents are like, yes, lick my boots, authors. And that bothers me enough that I don't want to do that. Like, it bothers me enough that it turns me off to conventional publishing. Like, one day maybe, you know, I'll go and you know, try to get conventionally published again, but that's gonna be something that is gonna have to wait until I swallow my pride, I guess, again.
Come on, girl.
'Cause now I know how good I am. And I'm pretty damn good. Like, I'm not gonna like, in so many different other areas. And Alex will say this constantly. He'll be like, has anybody told you that you have symptoms of imposter syndrome? And and I'll be like, well, you know, I do recognize them, but also, like, I don't fight them. And in writing, I will totally fight them. I am a pretty good writer. And I know that I am, so I don't need some agent to tell me that I am, because I just know I am. And they would be lucky to have me, not the other way around. And so that's why I think I find it so distasteful to lick someone's boots, because I shouldn't have to. I'm pretty damn good, you know, like, so, and, you know, a lot of conventional writers will be like, oh, that's, you know, that's not the attitude that you're supposed to have. You know, that's not the attitude that's going to get you, a publishing, you know, like a publishing, a publisher to let you be a writer full time or whatever. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. At least I didn't have to lick somebody's fucking boots for, you know, to beg them, you know, into oh, help me, I'm a poor writer, you know. I don't need that in my life. I can't kill that. I need to. Yeah, if only industry wasn't interfering in art and stuff. Yeah, no, that's so real. And it's real for artists and it's real for writers. I mean, like, if writers could just be writers without having to worry about, you know, without having to worry about these agents constantly being like, I'm the only person who can help you, you know, like, you have to pay attention to what I want you to write, or how I want you to edit this, or, you know, I want you to do this so that it's marketable. And it's like, but what if I don't give a shit what's marketable? It's a river. Alrighty. They're all Bane. Did that just glitch to show me where the... I think it's just like I like constantly have in my head that agents are usually like they're working on their own self-interest. They're not working for my interests. And I constantly have this thought that agents are not working with my interests in mind. They are working with their interests in mind. And sometimes those interests between agents and writers, like, they come together and they coexist. But the fact that, that I have to print out my manuscript on with 11.5 font on manila paper, and print it on .002 weight paper. Come on. That's some buttery bullshit. You staple it every 3 pages and space your periods like this and blah blah blah, That's just absolutely asinine that, some agents are like, why don't you just say that you're not accepting unsolicited manuscripts and let it go, Because obviously you don't want somebody to send you their manuscript, so why the heck would you bother? I think I was turned off to agents so quickly that I didn't even like get to the point of being even close to getting one, because like quality agents or not, like I'm pretty sure that I was just so turned off by the agents, by their ridiculous just standards for like how they wanted their bullshit manuscript, like to be sent to them.
I got something hooked.
Ooh, this one's gonna be a toughie. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, this one's gonna be real hard. This should be a legendary fish, so. Although, how I'm ever gonna get it to shore, I have no idea. Because I had to swim here. I think, like, if I were to not even bother with an agent and just go, like, to an indie publisher and say, hey, I write ABO erotica, historical ABO, I don't know how well that would go over. Like, I have no idea, like, what the whole, like, process of that would be. I don't know how you go, like, straight to a publisher. But I know there's indie publishers out there that do, historical megaverse fiction. They allow their writers to pretty much just do whatever they're gonna do. I have no idea. I really lack foresight on this one. I have no idea how I'm gonna get this fish back to shore. Of course, if I lose the fish, I can't get it back to shore.
You're not bad at all.
Oh, it's huge.
You're a fine-looking muskie.
That's not a legendary muskie, though. Yeah, I'll throw it back.
Maybe next time.
Alright, so that was not a legendary. So, with a little bit more foresight, let's get out of here. see if we can't get a leggy. Doing it this way. Would you write a young adult fiction book? Oh, lordy. Fuck that. Although, you know, it depends on how much money you give me. If you give me enough money, I will probably write you a young adult fiction book. But, you know, I don't know, like, I don't know how you would go about finding an agent who would do the whole, like, ABO thing. Like, do they think it's marketable? Do they not think it's marketable? Is that something that they're interested in? Is that something that they're not interested in? You know, is ABO marketable? Well, obviously it must be, since there are authors out there making money on it. I'm making money on it. And not only that, but there are indie publishers out there who are publishing it. So obviously it's not going to be like Penguin Books, you know, but there are indie publishers out there who think that it's a
Look at you.
It's a decent. Is this not legendary again? There's supposed to be a legendary fish in here. Like, I want to know how the published, conventionally published ABO romance writers have done it. Like, did they do it with an agent, or did they somehow, you know, contact the publisher, the indie publisher themselves? There's one thing that does bother me with indie publishers. They sometimes don't make the best business decisions, and indie publishers probably can't pay you, you know, the same amount of money that a lot of like big name publishers could pay you. And does it matter? Maybe. But that's just something that I think about sometimes. Like, does it matter? I don't know, because it's not like I'm, you know, rolling in the cash. And not only that, but they might look at, you know, the stuff that I have as free content, which I believe that at least some part of any Omegaverse writer's fiction should be free, mostly because Omegaverse is a community effort. So I think a lot of Omegaverse writers do have free work out there, and they should have free work out there, because, you know, it's kind of like a thank you to the community that birthed it. Yeah, they probably wouldn't offer advances, like, you know, so what are you doing? Watch, this isn't gonna be legendary, whatever this is.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you. I don't know. Nope, it's just a muskie.
Good luck, my friend.
Let's try a different spot. Oh my gosh, it's so murky in here. What if we did this? Yeah, it's totally and completely unavoidable, you know. And I think when it comes to a lot of free content with authors, is they're like, oh, you know, they get to a certain point where they're like, I'm so good that you have to pay for my work. Like, there's no other option, you know. Like I've just gotten to that point where I'm so good that if you're not paying for my work, like obviously, you know, you've pirated it, you know, you're and I think the sad part is that, like, you know, these authors let this go to their head. Like I know I am a good writer. I get told constantly I'm a good writer. I think I'm a good writer. Like, I compare my work constantly to conventionally published fiction. You know, and conventionally published fiction sets the bar. So if I'm at the bar, then, you know, and yeah, sure, I have, like, you know, some mistakes where I'll, like, accidentally type the same word twice. But who doesn't have that happen? Come on, pull it up. Yeah, how do you build an audience if you don't have free content? Like, it just doesn't make sense. If you don't have that, this is still just a Rego Muskie. Alright, let's try the other side. And I feel like there would be indie publishers out there who would look at my stuff and say, you know, this thing that you sent us is really great, but we'd rather have, you know, this story that you already posted that's for free, and we would rather have that, and you have to take it off the free website in order for us to publish it, because we no longer want it to be free and we want to publish it through us and make money off of it. And my answer would have to be, fuck no, I sent you the manuscript that I want to be, you know, conventionally published, and if you don't want that one, then you can't have any of them. I think a lot of my work has a professional polish. However, I notice a whole lot more typos than my audience does. And, you know, nothing against your finding typos prowess, but I definitely see quite a few typos whenever I go through them. But maybe that's because I go through them, like, I go through several of them a lot, so there might only be like 2 or 3 in each, but I see them as like a collective instead of like by each one. So as a collective, I know that they have like some ridiculous number of of typos. This had better be the legendary that's in here. Usually leggies aren't that hard to find. Oh, hey, oh, it's red! But it's still only a muskie. Like, what the fuck? It's fucking fish. Can't find it. What is that? Is that a person? No, that's a deer. Oh, Alex is calling me. Goodness gracious. Oh, that means it's 11 o'clock. I have been live streaming for far too long. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow, I didn't realize the time had gone so quickly. Wow. Incredible. Intense. see if this is an animal that is worth the slaughter. It is not. And I guess, what is that? That is a horse. But what kind of, oh, it's just a Kentucky Saddler. Whose horse is that? This elk is so confused. He's like, oh no! He's trying to attack me! Fuck you, buddy. Every once in a while I get attacked by like a buck or like an elk, and I'll be like, what is wrong with you?
Mister?
Fine morning, partner.
Just admiring your horse there.
Thank you kindly.
That's his polite way of saying fuck off. Oh man. Alright. Well, this has been a fun and enlightening live stream. I think I covered all of the questions that I had on my questions on my questions channel. Hopefully there are more questions soon. And next time we play a game, we can play, I'll do another poll for what game we want to play. I'll put some on there. And yes, thank you very much, Gwen. You have a good night. I know you don't sleep because you're a vampire. But I will see you. And hopefully I will have more of my challenges done, and hopefully I will catch this fucking fish. So, let me just save before I forget. Alright. And I'll see everyone later. I'll talk to everybody later. Hopefully, those who missed the live stream will catch it on Twitch or YouTube. Alright.